Alright, so I'm going to call this one Broken Arrow, because that's a term that you use when you're calling for close air support on your position, you're being overrun, and you ask them to drop everything they have on your current position. I'm calling it that because I'm dropping everything I have as far as hops into the beer. There's about 15 ounces of hops going into this beer, which is only going to produce a little over 3.5 gallons, hopefully. So, hence, the IBUs are going to be absolutely insane. Now, this beer was designed by Jamil Zenichev. I think I'm saying that name correctly, but he wrote a book called Brewing Classic Styles, and this is basically a scaled-down version of his take on the double IPA. Anyway, we got 14 pounds of pale 2-row and half a pound of caramel 40, half a pound of wheat malt, and 3/4 pound of sugar. I added flaked oats in there for fun because I once had a really awesome double IPA at a brewery and used flaked oats in it, and it was like really thick and sweet, and I kind of like that idea, so we're going to play around with it. And then we have hop additions at 90, 45, 30, and 0, as well as a bunch of dry hopping. We're going to use 2 packages of dry US-05 yeast, since that should be plenty of yeast to inoculate this. It's going to end up probably being close to 1/100 as far as the original gravity goes. Mash at 150 for about 90, see how it goes, and I'll catch up with you later. So first we're going to add our specialty malts. We have half a pound caramel 40. And half a pound of American wheat malt, just regular old white wheat. And half a pound of flaked oats for some serious body. The point of putting the flaked oats in is kind of that I want to have a really nice thick kind of body to the beer. At a double IPA Tired Hands Brewing Company in Pennsylvania once that reminds me kind of what I'm going for. And then we have 14 pounds of American Pale 2-row malt. This is going to be really interesting. I have no idea how to do this properly. Really? Today's the day that my thermometer stops working. 149. Alright, so we're going to do a quick sparge with some hot water and use about a quart, maybe a little more, to try and squeeze some extra sugars out of the grain here. Alright, so now I'm just going to measure out my hop additions. Alright, so our yeast is ready. It's been rehydrated, and I pulled off the wort here to about 68 degrees. So we're going to be able to start our fermentation pretty quickly at a good temperature. I've aerated it a bit, but I'm going to continue to do that with more time and give it another go, because this is a very high gravity beer. So the more oxygen we can put in the wort, the better. And then we'll pitch our yeast. So. I have 2 packages of Centennial US-05, so should be more than enough to do the job. Alright, so here is the 5.3 ounce dry hop bill that we had for this double IPA. So I just took a sample for the hydrometer, and turned out it's going to be about 11% alcohol. I went from a gravity of 1.098 all the way down to 1.015. So we're going to have a pretty strong beer here in our hands, and in order to prevent it from just kind of being a strong golden ale, we're going to need a lot of dry hopping so it smells really nice and hoppy. In order to do that, we have 2.6 ounces of Columbus, and 1.4 ounces of Centennial, and then 1.3 ounces of Simcoe in here. So basically a crap load of hops just for this one 3-gallon beer. So anyway, the hardest part sometimes is getting these freaking dry hops into the fermenter. But basically, just gonna shove them in there. And it'll end up crushing some of the pellets, but don't worry about that. That has really no effect. Basically, I want to do that. Alright, so I will mention again that my fermenter is sanitized already. Now what we're going to do is kind of tie off the hop bag here so that it floats freely in the middle. So that allows for maximum exposure of the beer to the dry hops. So we basically want as much aroma as we can squeeze out of this. And kind of a little short, but yeah, I'm going to raise that a little bit, because if your hops sit on your yeast bed, it can actually cause some unpleasant flavors, or so I've heard. I don't have enough dry hopping experience to actually prove that, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, so here we go. Alright, I'm going to transfer the beer, and I'll get back to you later. Alright, so here we are. The beer is transferred into the secondary container, and we need to wait for about 7 to 10 days for the dry hopping to go through. Now, I'm sure some of you will probably question why I didn't sanitize my hop bag. The answer to that lies both because the beer itself is actually 11% alcohol, so that's probably strong enough to kill most microbes. And the second reason is because hops themselves are actually a natural antibacterial agent. So that's how beer used to be preserved a long time ago, and nowadays they just have become mainstream for flavor reasons. Anyway, I will check back with you once this beer is ready to be tasted. Alright, today we're going to be trying my Broken Arrow 221 IBU 11% alcohol Imperial IPA. It has been aging for 2 weeks, and so it should be carbonated and ready to go. So let's see how this tastes. Alright, not much carbonation, but that's to be expected with the high alcohol. It's a nice color. Smells really fruity. It's actually got a pretty nice color to it, like a nice dark amber. This is the first time I'm actually tasting this, so let's hope I don't burn my tongue off with the hops. Wow. Okay. So you can't tell that this is 11% alcohol. That is a very, very smooth beer. And it's not so hoppy that it's not so hoppy that it makes my tongue go numb or something. It tastes like a straight up double IPA. This is exactly what I was going for. Okay, so it's very citrusy, but it's got a really nice hop flavor. It's very floral, and it smells a little bit like Simcoe. I think that was the biggest dry hopping ingredient, if I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong. I don't have my book in front of me. It smells really good. Wow, that is a sipping beer for sure, but doesn't have any sort of hot alcohol notes. It doesn't have any sort of alcoholic solventy flavor or anything. It's just really smooth. It's a good mouthfeel. Not too heavy. Not. God, this is phenomenal. I'm definitely gonna be making this again. Wow, that's really good.